Welcome back to Coin Discovery USA, the place where everyday pocket change can reveal astonishing treasures and where a simple coin that most people overlook can sometimes hold a story worth millions of dollars. And today we are exploring one of the most fascinating modern coin mysteries, the remarkable 1998 1 cent. A coin that under extremely rare and special circumstances could reach an incredible value of up to $15 million because of unique minting errors, production mistakes, and unusual variations that turn an ordinary penny into a legendary collectible. And while millions of 1998 pennies were produced and circulated across the United States, a very small number of them may contain rare features that collectors and numismatists search for with great excitement. Because the coin production process at the United States Mint is incredibly complex and involves multiple stages where even the smallest mechanical misalignment or die preparation mistake can create a coin that becomes historically significant, and when these rare mistakes appear on coins that survive in excellent condition, their value can skyrocket due to the intense demand from collectors who are fascinated by mint errors and unusual varieties. And one of the most well-known error types that can appear on a 1998 Lincoln cent is the doubled die variety, which occurs when the die used to strike the coin receives a misaligned impression during the hubbing process, creating visible doubling on letters, numbers, or design details, and collectors who carefully examine 1998 pennies often look closely at the motto "I in God We Trust," the word liberty, and the date itself, because doubling in these areas can indicate that the coin was struck from a doubled die, which immediately makes it far more valuable than a normal penny, and the stronger and more dramatic the doubling appears, the more desirable the coin becomes, especially if it is preserved in mint state condition with full original luster and crisp design details. But doubled dies are only one part of the story when it comes to rare 1998 pennies, because other types of mint errors can also transform this coin into an extraordinary collectible, and one of these is the off-center strike error, which occurs when the planchet is not perfectly positioned in the collar during the striking process, causing the design to be struck partially off the edge of the coin and leaving a blank area where the metal was not struck, and coins with dramatic off-center strikes that still display the date and essential design elements are extremely popular among collectors because they visually demonstrate the minting mistake in a clear and fascinating way, and depending on how far off-center the strike is, the coin can become increasingly rare and valuable, especially if the error occurred during a limited number of strikes before the minting equipment was corrected. And another fascinating possibility for the 1998 penny is the presence of die cracks or cuds, which happen when the die used to strike coins develops fractures or chips after producing thousands or even millions of strikes, and a die crack appears as a raised line across the surface of the coin where metal flows into a crack in the die, while a cud forms when a piece of the die breaks away entirely, leaving a raised irregular shape along the edge of the coin. And collectors prize these features because they represent permanent markers of the minting process and cannot be duplicated artificially, making each example a unique artifact of how coins were produced. And sometimes these die cracks grow larger over time, creating dramatic patterns that make the coin instantly recognizable to collectors who specialize in mint error varieties. And beyond die cracks and doubling, the 1998 penny can also appear with clipped planchet errors, which occur when the metal blank used to create the coin is improperly cut from the metal strip, leaving a curved or straight section missing from the edge before the coin is even struck, and when the design is struck onto a clipped planchet, the result is a coin that clearly displays the missing portion of metal, creating a visually striking error that collectors love to add to their collections. And another type of rare error that can occur is the broadstrike, which happens when the collar that normally surrounds the planchet during striking fails to engage, allowing the metal to expand outward under pressure, producing a coin that is wider and thinner than normal, and these broad strike coins are easily recognized because their edges lack the usual shape and their diameter is noticeably larger than standard pennies, and collectors find them fascinating because they reveal a rare moment when the minting machinery did not operate exactly as intended. And even more rare are wrong-planchet errors, where a coin is struck on a blank intended for a completely different denomination or sometimes even a foreign coin. And if a 1998 Lincoln cent were accidentally struck on such a planchet, it would instantly become An extraordinary rarity because the weight, color, or size of the coin would differ from a normal penny while still displaying the Lincoln design, and these types of mistakes are extremely rare due to the strict quality control systems used at modern mints. But when they occur, they become headline-making discoveries that attract worldwide attention from collectors and investors alike. And another factor that can push the value of a rare 1998 penny into extraordinary territory is its state of preservation, because coins that remain in pristine uncirculated condition with full original luster, sharp details, and nowhere are far more desirable than coins that have spent years in circulation, and professional grading services evaluate coins based on their surface quality, strike strength, and overall eye appeal, assigning grades that help determine their market value. And when a rare mint error is discovered on a coin that receives an exceptionally high grade, the combination of rarity and condition can produce a coin that collectors are willing to compete fiercely to own, sometimes pushing the final auction price to astonishing levels, which is why stories about pennies worth millions continue to captivate the imagination of collectors and treasure hunters around the world. And the possibility that a 1998 penny with rare errors could reach a value of $15 million reminds everyone that even modern coins can hold incredible secrets, because the minting process, while highly controlled, still allows occasional mistakes to slip through, and these mistakes create the rare varieties that collectors dedicate years of study and searching to find, and many coin enthusiasts spend countless hours examining rolls of pennies obtained from banks, carefully inspecting each coin under magnification in hopes of discovering a rare doubled die, an off-center strike, a die crack, a cud, a clipped planchet, or another unusual feature that could transform a simple coin into a remarkable collectible. And what makes this search so exciting is the knowledge that valuable coins can appear in the most ordinary places, from pocket change to forgotten jars of coins stored in drawers or closets. And throughout history, ordinary people have made extraordinary discoveries simply by taking the time to look closely at their coins, proving that hidden treasures can exist right in front of us without being noticed. And the story of the 1998 1 cent is a perfect reminder of this incredible possibility. Because even though billions of pennies were produced that year, a small number may carry rare characteristics that make them stand out from the rest, and for collectors who are passionate about the history and artistry of coins, finding such a piece is not just about financial value but also about the thrill of uncovering a small but fascinating piece of minting history. And as long as coins continue to be produced and circulated, the possibility of discovering rare errors and unique varieties will always exist, inspiring collectors to keep searching, learning, and sharing their discoveries with others who share the same excitement for numismatics. And the 1998 Lincoln cent stands as a powerful example of how even the most common-looking coin can become a legendary treasure when unusual minting events occur, reminding everyone who watches Coin Discovery USA that the next life-changing discovery might already be waiting quietly in a handful of spare change, just waiting for someone curious enough to take a closer look. Next, the 1999 1 cent, a coin that under extremely rare and specific circumstances could reach an incredible value of up to $12 million because of unusual minting errors, production mistakes, and rare varieties that transform what most people see as a simple penny into a legendary collectible. And while billions of 1999 Lincoln cents were produced by the United States Mint and circulated through everyday commerce, a very small number of these coins may contain extraordinary characteristics that make them stand out dramatically from normal examples, and it is these rare characteristics that attract the attention of collectors, investors, and numismatists around the world who carefully examine pennies in search of hidden treasures that most people overlook without a second thought, and to understand why a 1999 penny could become so valuable. It is important to understand how coins are produced in the first place, because the minting process involves several highly precise stages, including the creation of metal blanks known as planchets, the engraving and preparation of dies that carry the coin design, the placement of the planchet into a striking chamber surrounded by a collar, and finally the powerful strike of the press that transfers the design of Abraham Lincoln and the coin's inscriptions onto the metal surface. And while the mint strives to produce coins with absolute consistency and accuracy, the reality is that the massive scale of coin Production combined with the mechanical complexity of the minting process means that occasional mistakes can occur, and when these mistakes slip through quality control and enter circulation, they can become extremely valuable collectibles. And one of the most famous and exciting types of mint error that collectors look for on a 1999 penny is the double die variety, which occurs when the working die used to strike the coin receives multiple impressions during its creation that are slightly misaligned, causing parts of the design such as letters or numbers to appear doubled when the coin is struck, and on a 1999 Lincoln cent this doubling can sometimes appear on the words "I in God we trust," the word liberty, or even the date itself, and when this doubling is strong and clearly visible it becomes a clear sign that the coin was struck from a doubled die, which instantly makes it far more desirable to collectors because the doubling originates from the die itself rather than from post-mint damage. And this type of error is especially fascinating because every coin struck from that particular die may carry the same doubling, creating a recognizable variety that collectors actively search for. But doubled dies are only one of many possible errors that can transform a 1999 penny into a rare and valuable piece. Because another dramatic error that collectors love to discover is the off-center strike, which occurs when the planchet is not perfectly aligned in the striking chamber. When the press comes down, causing the design to be impressed only partially onto the metal surface while leaving a blank area where the coin was not struck, and these off-center coins can range from slight misalignments to dramatic examples where a large portion of the coin is blank. And collectors find them especially valuable when the date and major design features are still visible because this confirms the identity of the coin while clearly displaying the striking error. And another intriguing category of errors that can appear on a 1999 penny involves die cracks and cuds, which occur when the die used to strike coins begins to develop fractures after repeated use in the minting presses, and a die crack appears on the coin as a raised line where metal flowed into a crack in the die during striking, while a cud forms when a piece of the die actually breaks away from the edge, leaving a raised blob or irregular shape along the rim of the coin, and these features are highly collectible because they represent a direct record of the wear and stress experienced by the minting dies during production, and sometimes these cracks grow larger over time, producing increasingly dramatic patterns that collectors can track and study as the die continues to deteriorate. And beyond die cracks and doubled dies, another fascinating possibility for the 1999 penny is the clipped planchet error, which occurs when the metal blank used to create the coin is improperly cut from the metal strip before striking, leaving a curved or straight section missing from the edge of the coin, and when the design is struck onto this incomplete planchet the result is a coin with a distinctive missing segment that collectors immediately recognize as a genuine mint error. And clipped planchet coins are particularly interesting because they clearly demonstrate a flaw that occurred before the striking process even began. And another dramatic minting anomaly that can appear is the broadstrike, which happens when the collar that normally holds the planchet in place during striking fails to engage properly, allowing the metal to spread outward when struck by the press, producing a coin that is noticeably wider and thinner than a normal penny and lacking the defined rim that most coins possess. And collectors enjoy these coins because they visually illustrate how the striking pressure reshaped the metal when it was not confined by the collar, and perhaps one of the rarest possibilities of all is a coin struck on the wrong planchet, which occurs when a blank intended for a completely different denomination or even a foreign coin somehow enters the striking chamber and receives the Lincoln cent design. And such coins are extraordinarily rare because modern mint operations maintain strict control over planchets and production lines, but when a wrong planchet coin is discovered it becomes a headline-making rarity that attracts intense interest from collectors around the world. And another crucial factor that influences the value of a rare 1999 penny is its condition, because coins that remain in pristine uncirculated condition with full mint luster, sharp design details, and minimal marks are far more desirable than coins that have spent years in circulation, and professional grading services evaluate coins carefully to determine their state of preservation, assigning grades that help collectors understand how well a coin has survived since it was struck. And when a rare mint error is combined with an exceptionally high grade, the result can be a coin that commands extraordinary prices at auction, as collectors compete to own a piece that represents both rarity and exceptional preservation. And this is one of the reasons why stories about pennies worth millions capture the imagination of people everywhere, because they remind us that even the smallest and most ordinary objects can sometimes become incredibly valuable under the right circumstances. And the 1999 1 cent stands as a powerful example of how the complex and fascinating process of coin production can occasionally produce unexpected results that create coins of remarkable rarity and desirability. And for collectors, the excitement lies not only in the potential financial reward but also in the thrill of discovery, the knowledge that somewhere in circulation there may still be rare coins waiting to be found by someone who takes the time to examine their change carefully. And many enthusiasts spend hours searching through rolls of pennies obtained from banks, studying each coin under magnification to look for signs of doubling, unusual shapes, die cracks, or other clues that might reveal a hidden treasure. And countless discoveries have already been made by ordinary individuals who simply paid attention to the details of the coins in their possession, proving that valuable collectibles can sometimes be hiding in the most unexpected places, such as a jar of spare change, a forgotten drawer, or a handful of coins received in everyday transactions. And the story of the 1999 Lincoln cent reminds us that the world of coin collecting is filled with surprises and opportunities for discovery. Because even coins that appear completely ordinary at first glance may hold rare characteristics that set them apart from the billions of others produced during the same year. And for viewers who enjoy learning about rare coins and hidden treasures, the lesson is simple yet exciting. Always take a closer look at your pocket change, because you never know when a simple penny might reveal a rare error, a fascinating piece of minting history, and perhaps even a life-changing discovery worth millions of dollars. Next, the 2008 1 cent, a coin that most people see every day without thinking twice, but that under extremely rare circumstances could be worth an astonishing $10 million because of unusual minting errors, production mistakes, and rare variations that transform a simple penny into an incredible collectible. And while billions of 2008 Lincoln cents were produced by the United States Mint and released into circulation as everyday currency, a very small number of these coins may contain rare characteristics that make them stand out dramatically from ordinary examples. And these rare characteristics are what excite collectors and numismatists around the world, because mint errors represent unexpected moments in the coin production process when something did not happen exactly as planned, creating a unique coin that carries a fascinating story about how it was made. And understanding why a 2008 penny could become so valuable requires a closer look at how coins are manufactured at the mint, because the process begins with large metal coils that are punched into blank discs called planchets, which are then cleaned, polished, and prepared before being fed into powerful presses where engraved steel dies strike the design of Abraham Lincoln onto the metal surface. And this process happens at incredible speed, producing thousands of coins every minute. And while the mint uses advanced technology and strict quality control to ensure consistency, the sheer scale of production means that occasional mistakes can occur. And when these mistakes are not caught before the coins leave the mint, they can enter circulation and later become extremely valuable collectibles. And one of the most exciting error types that collectors search for on a 2008 Lincoln cent is the double die error, which occurs when the die used to strike the coin receives multiple impressions during its creation that are slightly misaligned, causing parts of the design such as letters, numbers, or design elements to appear doubled when the coin is struck. And on a 2008 penny, collectors often examine the words "I in God we trust," the word liberty, and the date itself to see if any clear doubling is present, because strong and visible doubling can indicate that the coin was struck from a doubled die, making it far more valuable than a normal example. And this type of error is particularly fascinating because it originates during the die creation process rather than during the strike itself, meaning that every coin struck from that die can display the same doubled features, creating a recognized variety that collectors actively seek. But doubled dies are only one possibility when it comes to rare and valuable 2008 pennies, because another dramatic error that can occur is the off-center strike, which happens when the planchet is not positioned correctly within the striking collar when the press comes down, causing the design to be struck partially off the edge of the coin end, leaving a blank area where the metal was not struck at all. And off-center coins can vary in severity from minor misalignments to dramatic examples where a large portion of the coin is blank, and collectors especially value coins where the date and major design elements remain visible because this allows the coin to be clearly identified while still displaying the unusual minting mistake. And another fascinating possibility involves die cracks and cuds, which occur when the die is used to strike. Coins begin to wear out or develop fractures after striking thousands or even millions of coins, and a die crack appears on the coin as a raised line where metal flows into a crack in the die during striking, while a cud forms when a piece of the die actually breaks away, leaving a raised irregular shape on the coin's edge where the missing portion of the die allowed extra metal to flow. And these features are highly collectible because they provide a permanent record of the stress and wear experienced by the dies during the minting process, and some collectors even specialize in studying these patterns to trace the life cycle of a particular die as it gradually deteriorates. And beyond die cracks and doubling, there is also the possibility of clipped planchet errors, which occur when the metal blank that becomes the coin is improperly cut from the strip of metal during the punching process, leaving a curved or straight section missing from the edge of the planchet before it is struck. And when the design is impressed onto this incomplete blank, the result is a coin with a clearly missing segment that collectors recognize as a genuine mint error. And these coins are especially interesting because the error happened before the coin was even struck, making them a fascinating example of how multiple stages of the minting process can produce unusual results. And another striking error type that can appear on a 2008 penny is the broadstrike, which happens when the collar that normally holds the planchet in place during striking fails to engage properly, allowing the metal to spread outward when the press strikes the coin, creating a piece that is wider and thinner than a normal penny, and lacking the well-defined rim that usually surrounds the design. And broadstrike coins are popular among collectors because they clearly demonstrate the power of the striking press and the importance of the collar in shaping the coin's final appearance. And perhaps one of the rarest and most dramatic possibilities for a 2008 penny is the wrong-planchet error, where a coin is struck on a blank intended for another denomination or even a foreign coin, and such mistakes are extremely rare, because the mint carefully controls the types of planchets used in each production line. But when a wrong-planchet coin is discovered, it becomes an extraordinary rarity because the coin's weight, color, or size differs from a normal penny while still displaying the Lincoln design. And collectors around the world are fascinated by these unusual coins because they represent a rare moment when the minting system allowed an unexpected combination of materials and designs to occur. And another critical factor that can dramatically influence the value of a rare 2008 penny is its condition, because coins that remain in pristine mint state condition with original luster, sharp details, and minimal marks are far more desirable than coins that have circulated for years and show signs of wear. And professional grading services carefully evaluate coins based on their surface quality, strike strength, and overall appearance, assigning grades that help collectors determine how well the coin has been preserved since it was struck. And when a rare mint error appears on a coin that receives an exceptionally high grade, the result can be a collectible that attracts intense competition among buyers at auction, sometimes pushing the price to astonishing levels. And this is why stories about pennies worth millions capture the imagination of people everywhere, because they remind us that even the smallest and most ordinary objects can sometimes hold incredible value when rare circumstances come together. And the 2008 1 cent serves as a powerful example of how modern coin production can occasionally create unexpected rarities that collectors dream of discovering. And the excitement of coin collecting lies in the possibility that a rare coin might be hiding in the most ordinary places, from the coins you receive as change at a store to the jar of pennies sitting quietly in a drawer or on a shelf. And many collectors spend hours searching through rolls of pennies obtained from banks, carefully examining each coin under magnification to look for signs of doubling, unusual shapes, die cracks, or other clues that might reveal a rare error variety. And over the years, countless valuable coins have been discovered by ordinary people who simply took the time to examine their change more closely, proving that hidden treasures can sometimes be found where we least expect them. And the story of the 2008 Lincoln cent reminds us that even coins minted in recent decades can become highly valuable collectibles when unusual minting events occur. And for viewers who enjoy the thrill of discovery and the fascinating world of numismatics, the lesson is clear and exciting. Always take a closer look at your coins because you never know when a simple penny might reveal a rare error, an intriguing piece of minting history, and perhaps even a life-changing discovery worth millions of dollars waiting quietly in your pocket change.